would pay me that much not to cook.
And finally, a very special birthday greeting for a Columbus woman. The woman, Elizabeth Cook, is celebrating her 86th birthday. She says she didn't pay much attention to the mail, but when she finally opened this envelope that was marked the White House, guess who it came from? Not only President Clinton, but Hillary as well, saying happy birthday, and it was a nice touch. Very good.
Yeah, I don't mind our taxpayers' money going for stamps like that.
That's right.
Well, thanks for your stamp of approval for joining us this morning.
That's right. Thank you very much for letting us be a part of your life, and join us today for the noon news at noon.
Makes sense, doesn't it? Hope all your news is good news.
Bye-bye.
Cleveland's live 24-hour news source continues.
It is one of the most spectacular skylines in the world, and you are looking at Hong Kong at night. It's a live picture. The buildings of this town still all decked out in lights celebrating the Chinese New Year. I'm Charles Gibson, and good evening. Good evening, that is, where we are. Good morning, where you are.
And I'm Joan Lunden. It is Tuesday, February the 22nd, and as you can see, we are already well into the evening. The city nightlife here is in full swing, and behind me, all these buildings that just line Victoria Harbor are kind of glittering like diamonds in the night.
Even without the special holiday decorations, these imaginatively lit buildings give you a sense that something very special is going on in Hong Kong, and that's the kind of sense that we're trying to bring you with this week of broadcasts. As you may know, if you watch this program, when we broadcast from distant time zones, we will sometimes pre-record the program in the morning to give you an idea of what morning is like in our location, and then it's played back in the morning in the United States. But when we saw this skyline, we knew that at least once we had to broadcast live at night to give you an idea of just how colorful Hong Kong is at night.
Yeah, we couldn't resist this one. So this morning, or this evening, depending on how you look at it, we're going to show you how this city kind of lets its hair down after the sun sets. One of the places that's always jumping at night is a place called Nathan Road, and it's not far from here, just a couple blocks away, and that is where Spencer Christian is tonight. Spencer?
Okay, Joan, right you are. Nathan Road is one of the most exclusive and one of the most expensive strips of real estate to be found anywhere in the world. This is my kind of place. Fast-paced, bright lights, and my kind of people. Urbane sophisticates. If you want the best, the most exclusive, the most expensive, the most outrageous of anything, you can probably find it here, and we'll give you a close-up look over the next couple of hours. Charlie?
Spencer, also with us tonight will be the outspoken British governor of Hong Kong, Chris Patten, talking about his fight to keep democracy alive in Hong Kong once the Communist Chinese take over in 1997.
And there are about 26,000 Americans living here. We'll find out how the expatriates live here in Hong Kong. We'll take a look at having a custom-made suit done, which we're going to have done this week. And then I want you to take a look at these little babies right here. These are cigars that cost $13,000 a box. There are 50 of them in there. You do the math, but don't try to go out to your local cigar store to buy them. They're from Cuba, and they are not sold in the United States. But we will go to the United States right now to Morton Dean in New York for the news. Good morning, Mort.
Good morning, Joan. Good morning, everyone. The ceasefire and the calm are holding in Sarajevo, but UN peacekeepers are still finding Bosnian Serb guns in the hills above the city this morning. The Serbs claim they disabled the guns instead of withdrawing or surrendering them to the UN. In Bonn, Germany today, diplomats from the West and Russia are searching for a wider peace for Bosnia. And we get more on the diplomatic front from ABC's Barry Dunsmore.
The success of the NATO ultimatum in Bosnia has not only changed the lives of people in Sarajevo, it has given a new lease on life for those seeking a diplomatic solution.
We believe that after this NATO ultimatum, nothing will be the same in Bosnia-Herzegovina. We have a long way to go, but we believe that it's the first step toward the peace.
In fact, the Bosnian Prime Minister and Secretary of State Christopher are meeting at least twice this week to explore a new concept. Until now, the basic idea on the negotiating table has been to carve up the existing state into 3 ethnic entities, one each for the Croats, Muslims, and Serbs. But the new plan would bring the Croats and Muslims together in a single federation to be joined with the Serbs to form a confederated Bosnia. That would resolve some of the key territorial disputes in western Bosnia and would give the Bosnian Muslims access to the Adriatic Sea. That is one of their minimum demands. The special U.S. ambassador for Bosnia, Charles Redmond, discussed the new plan with the president of Croatia over the weekend, and it will no doubt come up at the meeting in Bonn today. It's an approach which seems to provide the first glimmer of hope that there may actually be a diplomatic solution in Bosnia. Barry Dunsmore, ABC News, the State Department.
Federal Reserve Board Chairman Alan Greenspan travels to Capitol Hill today to report to Congress on the state of the economy. He's expected to face some harsh questioning on the Fed's controversial move earlier this month, raising short-term interest rates. Financial traders around the world are hoping Greenspan will drop a hint today about his future interest rate plans. Organized labor is flexing its muscle for health care reform. The AFL-CIO said yesterday it was ready to spend $10 million to promote the president's plan. The pledge suggests a mending of fences. The AFL-CIO and the White House were on opposite sides of the free trade debate. In San Antonio, closing arguments begin this morning in the trial of 11 Branch Davidians. The defendants face charges of murder and conspiracy following last year's deadly confrontation with federal agents near Waco, Texas. ABC's Linda Patillo is covering the trial.
Are the 11 Branch Davidians on trial fanatics who armed themselves for a war with the government, or members of a peaceful religious sect that acted in self-defense? After 6 weeks of testimony, it will soon be up to a Texas jury to decide. The government's key witness was Catherine Schroeder, who testified against her fellow defendants in exchange for a lesser sentence. Schroeder told the jury the religious sect had spent 2 years preparing for a battle with authorities, at one point demonstrating how they converted guns into automatic weapons. The government's key evidence, an arsenal of weapons recovered from the ruins of the Davidian compound, everything from grenades to anti-tank rifles. The defense is relying heavily on a call to 911 made from the compound during the initial raid. They say it proves the Davidians acted in self-defense.
This is Lieutenant Lynch. May I help you? Yeah, there's 75 men around our building, and they're shooting at us in Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel? Yeah, tell them there are children and women in here and to call it off.
Defense attorneys won what may be a key victory when the judge agreed to allow jurors to consider that the Davidians may have been acting in self-defense during the raid on their compound. The jury will have to consider more than 1,200 pieces of evidence and testimony from more than 130 witnesses. With 11 defendants and 6 weeks of testimony to consider, their deliberations could be lengthy. Linda Patillo, ABC News, San Antonio.
A deal is struck in Pensacola, Florida. The state has promised not to seek the death penalty for Michael Griffin. He's the man accused of killing a doctor outside an abortion clinic last year. In return, the court will be allowed to hear details of a conversation Griffin had while in jail. The nature of that conversation has not been disclosed. Britain's gay rights activists are promising a fight. Yesterday, the House of Commons voted to lower the age of consent for sex between men. The current age is 21. Gay rights groups wanted it lowered to 16, but lawmakers opted for something in between. ABC's Hal Walker has that story.
16! Now!
The demonstration outside the House of Commons in favor of lowering the age of consent for homosexuals to 16 was peaceful during the government debate, but it failed to influence the members who rejected the arguments of conservative MP Edwina Curry.
A young man is old enough at 16 to decide in law to sleep with his girlfriend, even to marry her. And yet, if he is the other way inclined, he is judged absolutely incapable of making up his own mind. I think that's nuts, frankly.
In the end, the House compromised, setting the age of consent at 18. The vote sparked a violent reaction among the gay rights activists who attempted to storm the Parliament. They say they will keep fighting to lower the age of consent in Britain, which was the first European country to decriminalize homosexuality 26 years ago. Hal Walker, ABC News, London.
And that's ABC News on the hour. Now back to Joan in Hong Kong. We miss you, Joan.
It is now 7:08, and not far from here is Nathan Road. It's kind of like our Times Square. It's a great, great area of this city. And Spencer Christian is there tonight, and it's a good time to go to Spencer since we're just getting a few raindrops here. Hi, Spence.
Just a couple of drops. Joan, you're right. Nathan Road is very much like Times Square in terms of the bright lights, but very unlike Times Square in terms of its upscaleness. Nathan Road is the single most expensive strip of retail rental property in the world. More expensive than Madison Avenue or Fifth Avenue in New York, more expensive than 57th Street in New York, more expensive than Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills. In fact, A 650 square foot space currently rents on Nathan Road for $44,880 US per month. And just a few blocks away, Canton Road is the second most expensive strip of retail rental property in the world. You know what's free here? The weather. Let's go to the maps, take a look at today's forecast. It's going to be a rainy day in the Pacific Northwest. Snow will fall heavily over the northern and central plains. A sensational day in the southwest, and the southeast and south central states will see heavy rainfall and some flooding. High temperatures, nice and mild and warm in the southeast and the southwest, but very, very cold in the north central states. That's a look at the national weather. Here's a look at the weather where you are.
We may see some peaks of sunshine early today, but then thickening clouds for the rest of the afternoon. Northeast winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Our high today, 32 degrees. Overnight, a winter storm watch is in effect for all of the northern half of Ohio. We'll see some snow developing tonight that could mix with or change over to sleet or freezing rain after midnight. We'll see an early low of 27 degrees with temperatures rising to around 30 by morning. Freezing rain changing over to all rain tomorrow. We'll have a high of 38.
And in just a couple minutes, we'll have more glitter and more glamour from Nathan Road. Joan?
No, it's me, Spencer, but that's all right. It's 10 minutes after the hour. After 150 years as a British Crown colony, in July 1997, like an errant child returning to a parent, Hong Kong will revert to Chinese control, the result of an agreement in which Communist China significantly agreed to allow Hong Kong for at least 50 years to keep its capitalist way of life and its freedom. But right now, the Chinese and the British are locked in a fierce struggle over how much democracy Chinese Hong Kong will have after 1997. So I spoke yesterday with the British governor of Hong Kong, Chris Patten, and I began by asking him why the British ever agreed to give this colony back. A tremendous number.
It's a difficult time in Chinese history, but about 92% was on a 99-year lease, and you couldn't conceivably hold on to 8% when 92% is going back. Nobody in Hong Kong argues against this particular destiny for Hong Kong, and I think that 97% of people in Hong Kong are Chinese, and they want to make a real success of the transition to Chinese sovereignty.
But they really don't determine whether this will be a success. The Chinese determine that. Why, as you point out, with 92% under lease, wasn't the 92% given back and the 8% at least held for a while to make sure that the Chinese would honor their agreements and let Hong Kong be?
Well, I don't think anybody really thinks it's viable to hold on to the 8%. If you look at all Hong Kong's demands for water and all sorts of other things, the community is really integrated now. You go up to Sha Tin or the other great new towns, new cities that have developed the other side of the Kowloon Hills, and you see how integrated they are with this part of Hong Kong. So I don't think there was ever any option, and certainly Britain has never argued for that. We want to see the transition successful, but we also want to see, and this is the crucial thing for us, we also want to see Hong Kong's special quality, its unique features survive, because that's what make it such a successful place.
You are now in the midst of a campaign to give Hong Kong a minimum, really, amount of democracy. And the Chinese are fighting you tooth and nail. What makes you believe they'll let the economic prosperity of this area alone?
Well, I think that Chinese leaders and Chinese officials, when they're sensible, recognize the huge contribution which Hong Kong is making to China, which is undergoing this spectacular economic revolution, and the huge contribution which Hong Kong can make in the future. Hong Kong represents about 19%.
With us, we'll take a commercial break and be right back.
Honey, are you there? I work in the education department at the Oakland Zoo, and that doesn't leave me much time for cooking. Honey, if you get this message, put the lasagna in. I think Stouffer's quality is much better. My kids just love the lasagna. How's it going? It tastes like it's made with fresh ingredients. Stouffer's tastes like home cooking. The stuffed green peppers taste like somebody just made them. You're waiting on me? It's food that you cook yourself if you had more time. Nothing comes closer to home.
Let's talk smart. Let's talk Eagle Vision. V6, power windows and locks, air conditioning and automatic transmission. Let's talk safety. Let's talk lease. We're talking $245 a month. Hey, stop talking and go test drive a new Vision ESI. It's the least we can do for you.
See your Superstar Jeep and Eagle dealer today.
Living without boundaries. Ralph Lauren's men's fragrance, Safari. This is your gift with any $35 Safari for Men purchase. Available at Dillard's.
Leisure Time is bringing in the new year with liquidation prices for all 93 pools and spas. Pools are being sold at or near cost, and the savings are huge. How about a 24-foot pool for only $3.99? Ovals are only $5.99. Choose from over 193 Delta spas at only $14.99, or buy a hot spring spa for $3,400. This offer includes floor demos, scratch and dents, out-of-the-box merchandise, but no reasonable offer will be refused. So don't miss the deal of the year. See you at Leisure Time Warehouse now.
Hi, I'm Steve Fox in New York. I apologize for our technical difficulties. We've lost the satellite communication with Hong Kong. It is now 7:16. We'd like to return to the taped interview Charlie Gibson did a couple of days ago with British Governor General Chris Patton, the interview that was interrupted just a moment ago.
Beijing and in Chinese government before that time. Do you have any sense as to how those changes in Chinese government will affect Hong Kong?
Obviously, what happens in China will have an effect on Hong Kong. I'm optimistic about what will happen in China. I'm optimistic because I think that opening up an economy has benign social and other consequences. So, on the whole, though I think that there will be maybe some bumps along the way, I'm optimistic about what's happening in China. I don't think you can be other than that when you look at 1.2 billion extremely creative, able people with a great civilization at their back, discovering market forces. I think that's a good thing.
As you head toward 1997, and when you turn over control to the Chinese, that makes you the last governor of the last British colony. Do you have any thoughts about that, residing over that here in 3 years plus?
Yes, I do. I think it's been a pretty good passage in my country's history. Of course, not everything's gone right, but it's been decently intentioned to leave behind us in communities for which we've had sovereign responsibility. A reflection of some of our liberal, decent values. It hasn't always worked, but it's been managed on the whole without some of the bloodshed and difficulties which have attended decolonization by other European and other powers. There have been problems, but on the whole, as I say, we've laid down that 19th century burden with a good deal of style and a good deal of dignity and decency, and I hope we can do the same thing here.
It is 7:19 now. We continue to experience technical difficulties from Hong Kong. So right now, let's take a look at Hong Kong's night market, a place that Spencer visited last night. So we are now going to the night market?
Yeah, Temple Street, the night market, yeah.
Well, I can see why they call it night market, because they sell everything here.
Yeah, just about. And also called the poor man's nightclub in here.
Poor man's nightclub.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Look at that. Lovely.
Beads and necklaces?
Yeah, yeah.
I can get something like this for my daughter.
Yes.
Oh, ties. I love ties.
Which one you want? More $100 bills?
More $100 bills,
Right. $50 bills.
Everything here. Now, Year of the Dog.
Year of the Dog,
Yeah.
Can you hear the beeping noise?
Yeah, clocks, right?
Yes, that's right. Alarm clock that.
Oh. No, too loud. CDs.
Here you go.
CDs. Ah, look at this. Paula Abdul.
Oh, I see.
Should be A-B-D-U-L.
Yeah, that's right.
I can tell. This must be the famous Chinese opera.
Yes, this is it. Yeah, that's right. Only happen in the night market here.
They're doing original works, or are these old tunes?
Oh, they are classics. Yeah, they are classics. And Cantonese, of course, in Cantonese.
Right.
Yeah.
I need you to explain this to me. I know it's fortune telling with birds.
Yes, that's right. What happened is that he will use the bird to come and pick up your fortune.
Ask about my family.
Your family. 佢要問家宅。Your family can be quite. It's going to be quite wealthy.
And health is okay except for the minor illness, but everything will work out.
Yeah.
Oh, Winnie, basketball.
Oh, yeah.
I have to go just a little, shoot a few hoops.
Oh, okay. Go ahead then.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I used to be deadly from the side. Yes! Yes! Who is your favorite basketball player?
籃球明星。
Jordan. Michael Jordan. So this is night market.
Yeah,
It's
right.
unbelievable. We had Chinese opera.
Yeah.
My fortune was told by a bird.
Yeah.
I played basketball. And we had
Yes.
shopping. I can't imagine how much more you can do in one night.
Yeah. It's fun, isn't it?
Oh, night market is awesome.
Yeah.
And we should thank Steve Fox back in New York
Yeah.
for rescuing us there, and curses to that satellite up there that knocked us off the air for just a few moments from here in Hong Kong. But we understand you did get to see the interview that I was able to have with the British governor of Hong Kong, Chris Patten, and also saw the piece of Spencer at the night market last night. And Spencer, I understand that was a very rather eventful visit that you paid.
Extremely eventful, Charlie. Well, you know, part of the fun of shopping in Hong Kong is haggling over price. You never pay the listed price on items. You're always expected to negotiate. You can always get the price down a little bit. Even though I knew that going in last night when I went to night market, I got 15, 20% off on most of the items I bought. I still got taken. I was told I should have gotten about 30% off on everything.
So where are you supposed to start negotiating?
Well, you just go in and you start about 30% off, and you say, if they say it's a $100 item, you say, well, look, here's 70 bucks. That's what I want to pay. Now, for example, I got a couple of neckties here that I bought last night. These are nice ties. They were listed $35 a piece, total price of $70. So I said to the lady, how about 60? She said, okay. And
when that happens, you know that you've just been a bad bargainer.
That's right. That's right. My tour guide, Winnie Chan of the Hong Kong Tourist Association, said I should have said 60. I should have said 50 right away. I probably could have just paid 50.
Or you can actually say 30. You can go half price, and then they will act very, very offended, which is all part of the game. And then eventually you come to a meeting price. I also went to the night market last night.
Right.
And I'll show you later in the program some of the little items that I've been picking up along the way.
Yes, if you're coming to Hong Kong soon, Joan has bought it out, by the way. But we'll show you all of her purchases and what she's been able to pick up here, because Hong Kong certainly is known for shopping.
Absolutely.
And we've been out already to be fitted for our custom-made suits. We'll show you that a little later as well. 23 after, the satellite is going to stick with us for the next hour and a half. Hong Kong at night, a beautiful sight. We'll be back.
Live.
Is this something new?
It's a different kind of V8 vegetable juice.
With the picante. What's a picante?
Kind of spicy.
Not too spicy. It's got punch.
It's jalapeno-y. Wow.
It's a very zippy drink.
I taste wild Mexican spices.
What? Yeah, and it's got all these vegetables in it.
This is delicious. You any more of this?
V8 picante. This is it. I was in Mexico once.
Why aren't you flexing your teeth?
Flexing?
With Aquafresh Flex, the only toothbrush designed with a flexible neck. Flex helps you brush away plaque, yet it's still gentle to your gums. Look, it doesn't even damage this tomato. So stop brushing and start flexing.
You with cold cereal?
Yes, ma'am.
Quaker toasted oatmeal.
Grains of Quaker oatmeal on every oatmeal flake. Same good stuff as the hot.
Well, they sure like it.
Quaker toasted oatmeal. It's my other oatmeal.
Mine, too.
The JCPenney Wardrobe Sale. It's our way of showing you we have more than one strong suit.
because you'll save 25% on women's suits, dresses, and accessories. And of course, separates that come on strong. And men, you'll save on many prominent names like Stafford, Hager, and more. Power ties and shirts also make a statement. Our strong suits go on and on, but the wardrobe sale doesn't.
I got mad at myself for not understanding it.
When we worked at night with her, we would find a very frustrated little girl.
On my tests, I would usually get a 70.
We were shooting blind. We're not teachers.
I needed extra help.
That's when we brought her to Sylvan.
Her confidence level has changed tremendously.
Now I get hundreds.
She comes home and feels I can give it a shot, I can give it a try, and I will.
For better grades tomorrow, call your nearby Sylvan Learning Center today at 1-800-EDUCATE, 1-800-EDUCATE.
Oh, I love Sylvan.
This News Channel 5 news update is sponsored in part by Ken's Steakhouse Salad Dressings.
Now, from News Channel 5, Cleveland's live 24-hour news source continues.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Bill Yunkin. A 14-year-old Cleveland boy needs your help or he might not live. Kevin Workman has leukemia. His only hope for a cure is a bone marrow transplant, but no one in his family is a match.
Right now, the outlook is scary because he haven't found a donor. And seemed like, I know it hasn't been that long because it's just been October, but I'm getting paranoid because I know sometimes people just don't find donors.
Just hoping everybody could come out and help me.
Well, you can give a blood sample today at Cleveland City Hall to find out if you're a match. Finding a donor is tough for Kevin. 1 out of 1 million people on the registry, only 5%, just 5%, are African Americans. Folks along the Grand River are still cleaning up after the weekend that caused flooding along the river. The Coast Guard cutter Nia Bay is at the mouth of the river now, attempting to keep the channel clear. But more bad weather is expected tonight and tomorrow, which could make cleanup efforts a lot more difficult. We don't expect any relief in sight. I'll have the weather forecast in a minute. Well, if you're looking for a job but have no experience, Snyder National is looking for you. The trucking company is looking for 500 new drivers in the Cleveland-Akron area. Several prospective applicants came to hear more about the company yesterday, and they say they like what they heard. If you're interested, more interviews are being held today at 9, 1, and 6 at the Hilton in Independence. Starting pay is $25,000. If you spend a lot of time on the road, you're probably getting used to dodging potholes. Well, if you're to the point where you find yourself mumbling with every swerve, News Channel 5 wants to help you get rid of the car-rattling opponents. All you have to do is drop us a line on your potholes location. Write to Patch Your Pothole, 3001 Euclid Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44115. We'll alert city crews who promise to work hard at patching up those nasty problem potholes. And finally, a very special birthday greeting for a Columbus woman. The woman, Elizabeth Cook, is celebrating her 86th birthday, and she says she didn't pay much attention to the white envelope when it arrived in the mail. But when she opened it, it turned out to be from President Clinton and Hillary. Elizabeth's birthday is the same as President's Day, which was yesterday. Take a look at the weather forecast in just a minute.
Back in 1940, Ken's Steakhouse opened in Framingham, Massachusetts, and those great steaks brought people from miles around. But when Ken started putting his mother-in-law's dressing on the salads, something funny happened. The salads got even more popular than the steaks.
You know, Ken, you really ought to bottle this stuff and put it on the market.
Ken's Steakhouse salad dressings. They were born in a great steakhouse, and today they're at your supermarket in over a dozen great varieties.
Your Pontiac dealers are so excited by the Cleveland Auto Show, they're seeing double. So they're doubling current factory rebates with special auto show incentives on their 2 most popular models. For a limited time, qualifying buyers can double their value on new Grand Ams with $500 extra cash back for a total of $1,000. Or double your value on Bonneville with $750 extra cash back for a total of $1,500. Double your excitement with special auto show incentives. Get the details at the Cleveland Auto Show or see your Northern Ohio Pontiac dealer today.
Well, Mark Johnson's on his way out to the IX Center where the big car show is getting ready to get underway. Let's take a look at his forecast. Some temperatures around Ohio right now. We're down to 27 degrees. Down in Columbus, as you can see, naturally you go further south, it warms up. 31 down in Columbus, 34 in Cincinnati, 28 over in Toledo. And we've got some nasty weather possibly on the way. There is a winter weather warning for all of northeast Ohio. In fact, all of northern Ohio, with a chance of rain tonight, possibly freezing rain and snow. There's the forecast. A peak of sunshine this morning, hopefully. Then the clouds will start thickening. Winds out of the northeast at 10 to 15. The high today, an even freezing 32 degrees. Tonight, that's when the storm watch goes into effect. Snow possibly mixed with freezing rain. Rush hour may be a mess. We'll just have to wait and see. The winds out of the northeast 15 to 25. The low down to 27 degrees. And there's a look at Mark's 5-day forecast. And as you can see, those temperatures are going to continue to drop through Saturday, with a chance of sun on Saturday if we can just make it that far, but it's going to be cold. Have a great day, Cleveland.
My name's John Riley. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
I'm Mike Riley from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We live in Hong Kong.
Good morning, America.
It is Good Morning America for you, but it is Good Evening America for us. We are live in Hong Kong. Good morning, I'm Joan Lunden.
And I'm Charles Gibson. It is good to have you with us on this Tuesday morning. It seems strange to say that, February 22nd.
And we are sharing with you what is behind us, this absolutely remarkable view of the spectacular skyline of Hong Kong. And this promenade that we're on right now in the daytime, this is a great place for joggers, or people are like running down to the ferry because the ferry leaves right there to go over to the island of Hong Kong. We're actually on the Kowloon Peninsula at the Regent Hotel, which has been our home base.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. As you said, this is a very pretty city by day. It is spectacular by night, and that is why at least once this week we wanted to come to you live at night, though it's morning back where you are. Just a couple of blocks from us is a very bustling street. It is Nathan Road, also very colorful at night. It is a street of restaurants and bars, and there are stores there and nightclubs. And you will find patronizing all of those establishments many Americans, part of an expatriate community here, very large community. Most of them work for U.S. firms, well compensated for having to live here. Our money editor, Tyler Matheson, is going to be with us for a few moments, talking about how the expatriates live in Hong Kong. And also, you're going to meet a group of Americans who live here. You're also going to get another look at that box of cigars that's worth $13,000. But first, you're going to get a look at the news, and here's Morton Dean.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Joan. Good morning, everyone. The diplomatic push to bring peace to Bosnia is gathering momentum. Diplomats from the U.S., Germany, France, Britain, and Russia are meeting in Bonn today. They're discussing extending the Sarajevo ceasefire to other besieged towns in Bosnia. Outside Sarajevo today, UN peacekeepers are moving in on Bosnian Serb guns still in the hills above the city. The Serbs claim they disabled those guns instead of withdrawing or surrendering them to the UN. Federal agents say lightning did strike during Operation Lightning Strike. That was the code name of a lengthy FBI sting operation at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. Reports say at least 2 NASA contractors and several space agency employees will be named in criminal charges today. The charges are said to include bribery and the selling of inside information. Interest rates, cable TV rates, and telephone rates are in the news today. ABC's Stephen Ogg has all that in his morning economic report.
Good morning. Markets all over the world are waiting to hear what Federal Reserve Board Chairman Alan Greenspan has to say today when he reports to Congress on the economy. At the end of January, Greenspan said short-term interest rates were abnormally low. 4 days later, he shocked Wall Street by raising them 0.5 percentage point. Now traders are looking for hints about when rates are going to go up again. Meanwhile, when the Federal Communications Commission meets today, it's widely expected to try once again to force cable television operators to lower their rates. The guessing centers around a 10% cut. The Commission tried forcing rates down last year, had it put a rate freeze into effect to prevent them from going up. Still, about 1/3 of cable subscribers actually found themselves paying higher rates. And yet another long-distance calling plan from AT&T, this one called True Ties. Under this plan, your friends and relations can telephone you at your expense. You give AT&T up to 5 phone numbers, and when they call you, you pay for the call plus a $1.44 service charge. Or you can have your own personal 800 number, and anybody with your access code can call you at your expense. Finally, remember all the hoo-ha surrounding Joe Camel, the Camel cigarette advertising character some people said encouraged youngsters to smoke? Well, a survey commissioned by R.J. Reynolds, the people who make Camels, says Joe Camel's a flop. Only 73% of youngsters aged 10 to 17 knew who he was. Other advertising characters typically got 94 to 99% recognition, like Tony the Tiger, Ronald McDonald, or the Energizer Bunny. And nobody could recall a major cigarette brand slogan. Not surprising, since they can't be advertised on radio or television. That's a look at the economy.
Stephen Ogg. Big labor is going to work for President Clinton's health care reform plan in a big way. The AFL-CIO said it would spend $10 million to help promote the president's plan. There's a political significance here, too. The White House and the union had split, were on opposing sides during the NAFTA debate. Finally, for those of you who did not get a Christmas card from Vice President Al Gore, don't fret, it may still be in the mail. Gore's office sent out 95,000 holiday greeting cards on December 10th, but some are now just reaching their destinations. Gore aides blame the post office. The post office says it's investigating what happened. And that's ABC News. Now back to Spencer in Hong Kong.
Okay, Mort, I am back on Nathan Road, hustling, bustling, the most expensive strip of retail rental property anywhere in the world, but it has an interesting history. It was named by Sir Matthew Nathan, who was governor of Hong Kong from 1904 to 1907. He envisioned that this strip would become the major commercial center that it is today, but at that time it was just an unassuming little tree-lined street. People here thought he was crazy. They called it Nathan's Folly, but it has now exceeded his wildest expectations. Let's go to the maps, take a look at today's weather. It's going to be a sunny day in the southwest, a rainy day in the northwest. Snow will fall over the plains and down into the lower Mississippi Valley. It'll be rainy. It'll be a cold day in the upper Midwest. North central states will be frigid, but it'll be nice and mild down in the 2 southern corners of the country. That's a look at the national weather. Here's a look at the weather where you are.
May see a peak of sunshine early today, but then increasing cloudiness this afternoon. We'll have a high of 32 degrees. Winter storm watch in effect for all of northern Ohio tonight. Snow and freezing rain developing after midnight. Our low 27.
And we'll have more weather from Nathan Road in the next half hour. Charlie?
Thanks very much, Spencer. Now 36 minutes after 7. When we come back, how Americans live and work here when Good Morning America continues live from Hong Kong.
If you have problems falling asleep, now your world is about to change. Introducing Unisom Sleep Gels with a special liquid center. They're maximum strength, so they're as effective as anything you can get without a prescription. They help you fall asleep fast and wake up refreshed. If you have problems falling asleep, try new maximum strength Unisom Sleep Gels. A remarkable new idea from Unisom.
It's better.
Not bitter.
Surprise.
It's sweet.
Ocean Spray, ruby red and tangerine grapefruit juice drink.
This is grapefruit. It's better.
Not bitter. Surprise. Yeah, it's sweet.
It has 2 tastes, like sweet at first and then grapefruit at the end.
Sweet grapefruit and tangerines.
Tangerine? Wow. It's better.
Much, much better. Not bitter.
What a surprise. It's very, very sweet. It's not any ordinary grapefruit juice.
It's got a sweet grapefruit taste you'll crave. Ruby red and tangerine. Crave the wave. Ocean Spray.
Only one adult cereal could be this much fun to eat. Basic 4, a colorful mix of flakes, fruits, and nuts. Basic 4, tastes so good, you'll forget it's for adults. Attention Basic 4 lovers. Now there's more to Basic 4. More raisins, berries, apples, almonds, walnuts. 25% more fruit and nuts in every box. Now more than ever, Basic 4 tastes so good, you'll forget it's for adults.
We kill germs that cause bad breath. We fight clot above the gum line. We go on to battle the gum infection. Gingivitis. We are Listerine antiseptic.
If you've had excess gas when taking these, try Citracel. All other powdered fibers contain psyllium, which may initially cause gas and bloating. But Citracel's fiber is as effective without producing gas. Citracel, effective relief without the gas.
And it's now 39 minutes after the hour. 98% of the people who live here are Hong Kong Chinese. But ever since Hong Kong began, there's been a thriving community of workers from overseas, and even today, Hong Kong's bustling economy continues to attract people from overseas, many of them Americans. There are more than 26,000 people from the U.S. who live and work here, and so our money editor, Tyler Matheson, is living and working here temporarily, and he has an idea of just how the expatriates fare. Tyler?
Thank you, Charlie. Time was when your company assigned you to Hong Kong. At the beginning of your career, it was the equivalent of being assigned to Siberia. At the end of the career, maybe the equivalent of a gold watch. But now, in this action-packed part of the world, it's very different indeed. Americans come to live in Hong Kong for all kinds of reasons.
For my job, no crime, no snow.
The adventure, the traveling.
And oh, how some of them miss the good old USA.
Yeah, I miss the food.
Beaches from California.
World Series, the Super Bowl.
When homesickness hits, Americans seek out events such as the live 7 a.m. airing of the Super Bowl at local establishments like Dan Ryan's, where the main chow was not chow mein, but pancakes and eggs. Still, this bit of Americana was merely a temporary diversion from the daily rigors of culture shock and work.
All right, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Meet Bostonian Kevin McDonald, a 25-year-old shipping manager for Sealand. Like many young single Americans, McDonald came to Hong Kong to work.
There's a sense and a feel of a lot of energy here in Hong Kong, and it's happening here.
McDonald ventured here because people his age can earn the kind of professional experience and money they could never get in the U.S., and they get to keep more of what they make. Americans living overseas can shield from U.S. tax the first $70,000 they earn, and Hong Kong's income tax rate is a low 15%. And while McDonald gets daily Mandarin language lessons, he admits he tends to hang around with his English-speaking buddies.
You know, it turns out to be a very small community, and yeah, we've got a lot of very good friends, and you seem to run in the same crowds.
For McDonald's crowd, it's Saturday Night Fever every weekend at least, as they head to Lan Kwai Fong, the strip that caters to Westerners, or Guilos as they're sometimes called here. For single Americans in Hong Kong, the motto seems to be work hard, play even harder. But when you're married with children, the lifestyle and the challenges of living here are very different indeed. Mike and Robbie McGowan have raised their 3 kids entirely in Asia. Mike is a lawyer for a Seattle firm and says American employers try to compensate for the difficulties expat Americans face.
And so they throw on the benefits. Oh, we'll give you a live-in helper in your home. We'll give you a car, a very nice car with a driver. We'll give you vacation privileges and travel benefits that you wouldn't ordinarily have for your position in the States.
The McGowans are thrilled with the education their children, like 5-year-old Caitlin, are getting at the Hong Kong International School. And Robbie is thrilled that she can now find basics like corn syrup, which she once searched for weeks.
But I found it finally at a little store after making numerous phone calls, and I bought it all. I mean, they had 6 bottles, and I bought it all, and I still have some that
and the guy was so glad to see you coming. Here's some sucker who buys 6 bottles of corn syrup.
There are places like the American Club, membership fee $170,000, where the store shelves look more like Houston than Hong Kong. But the McGowans have made their peace with the white-collar professional life here.
It's kind of frightening to think about going back to the U.S. And Mike, on the other hand, thinks that our children need to have a grounding in U.S. culture. So we're talking about this all the time.
Well, on the other hand, she's the one who says we've been camping out for 10 years.
Well, I kind of feel that we have, because we keep thinking, now we're going back, but really this is our home.
And a bit of a shower has now kicked up. Tell me, I would think, this being a British Crown colony, that the largest group of expatriates is British, true?
No, used to be, up until about 1990, when the Americans actually surpassed them. So the Americans are now the largest sort of Western-oriented expat community here. They are exceeded in numbers by Filipinos, who are actually mostly in domestic and housekeeper jobs. They're by far the largest.
When this is taken over by the Chinese communists? Will that have an effect, do you think, on the number of expatriates that comes here?
I think potentially it will slow it down, but that has not happened lately. It's been actually increasing. More and more Western businesses coming here, and actually Hong Kong residents who were leaving back after Tiananmen Square have actually, that tide has slowed markedly over the past year or so.
All right, Tyler, thanks. We're going to take a commercial break. Hopefully this will stop. And when we come back, we will talk to some of the expatriates living here in Hong Kong. We'll be back. Good Morning America continues live from...
Travel by Japan Airlines, featuring a world of comfort to Japan and the rest of Asia. JAL Mileage Bank Awards include the Orient, Europe, Mexico, Hawaii, and the Caribbean.
Heart patients from all over the world come to the Cleveland Clinic for treatment. Now the Cleveland Clinic and EMH Regional Medical Center are bringing that world-class cardiac care to Lorain County. EMH proudly announces its affiliation with the Cleveland Clinic's Department of Cardiovascular Surgery, making Lorain County's finest cardiac care facility that much better. EMH Regional Medical Center and the Cleveland Clinic. World-class care, close to home.
What makes getting a loan at the Huntington different from other banks? We won't leave you in suspense. Not with our Instant Answer loan.
Direct, how may I help you?
Just call 1-800-480-BANK and apply anytime, 24 hours a day. You'll get an answer right away while you're on the phone.
Call anytime. We're always here.
The Instant Answer loan, only from Huntington Banks.
A Florida vacation with the kind of memories that last a lifetime. Just 90 minutes from the everlasting magic of Walt Disney World lies another enchanted land, the beaches of St. Petersburg, Clearwater. For a free visitor's guide or to make hotel reservations, call 1-800-345-6710. St. Petersburg, Clearwater, where the magic lasts a lifetime.
Experience worldwide fun and family automotive excitement at the 67th Greater Cleveland International Auto Show, now through February 27th at the IX Center. See the new cars, vans, trucks, and futuristic concept vehicles the industry is buzzing about. Don't miss the antiques, classics, competition and specialty vehicles, the Greater Cleveland Automotive Technology Competition, and the all-new alternative fuel vehicle display. You can win new cars. And remember, there's free parking every day at the auto show.
Talking a lot about the very large community here of Americans, the expatriates living and working here. And we have a few of them with us to share their experiences with us. They are John Riley, an executive with a major oil corporation, Kathy Hoy, who works for a financial services company, and Jim Shudo, a graduate student attending a university here in Hong Kong. Nice for all of you to join us, even though we have a few raindrops coming down at the moment. Kathy, why don't you start out? How would you compare the opportunities, the job opportunities here as compared to what you might be able to get back in the States?
Well, they're far greater here.
How so?
Well, I worked in Boston for a year and a half, and I was transferred over to Tokyo. And what you end up doing is you do a lot more things. You have far more responsibility over a greater area.
Because there aren't so many people?
There aren't as many people. Your depth is probably lower, but I mean, the range of activities that you're involved in is...
Well, if there aren't as many people, that means there probably isn't as big a middle level, middle management. So is it like a little easier to do the job without so many people around?
Yeah, in a way it is, because you don't have the middle management.
Yeah.
And I mean, you basically are your own boss.
We've talked a lot about the young single, and there are a lot of young single Americans and British and all that are out at all these clubs. But how about for a family man?
Living in Hong Kong is good. It's good for a family. It's good for a single person. It's just a great place to live and work.
Good opportunities?
Tremendous opportunities.
More so than if you were back in the States?
A lot more than if you're back in the States, particularly for large industries. Compared to the States, this place is booming. The economy is about 20% productivity gains all the time.
You'll hear this from everyone. Everybody says, great opportunities and all this. But one other thing you always hear is they always tell you when their end is. They can always tell you when they're leaving. It seems, Jim, like almost like kind of a transient existence, a short-term town.
It is a short-term town to some extent. You'll find that a lot of people are here on 2- or 3-year assignments from the States. Personally, I'm here as a graduate student, so I'm here for 1 year.
But doesn't that mean you're always changing friends? I mean, people you know go and then...
It's tough. I think that every 2 weeks I attend a party of somebody who's leaving town. And then, of course, at that party you meet 3 or 4 new people who just got to town.
I saw Kathy really shake her head yes, too.
It's so true. I've been in Asia now for 3.5 years. And I've just gone through loads of friends that have come in and gone. I mean, the thing was, I was supposed to be here for 6 months, and somehow that turned into 3.5 years.
So you obviously like it.
I do, very much.
Interesting, too, though. I mean, it's like everybody really enjoys being single. Back home, everyone's saying, are you married yet? You know, if you get to be 26, 27 here, I don't hear any of that.
I think Hong Kong is a great town to be single in, and part of it is you're young and you're probably in a different country for the first time, and you're with a lot of people from all over the world in the same situation. So you're making new friends every day.
But it's very much to itself, this community. Is that a conscious decision not to mingle with the Chinese community, or how does that come about, do you think?
I think that's mostly because of the culture. People like to mingle with their own. You'll find that the Chinese community does that when they go to the U.S., so it's no different. But we do mingle. It depends on your position with the company, and depends on what you do with the company, or it depends on what your livelihood is and where you live in the community.
What about when things change over in 1997?
From my perspective, okay, and it's personal, I don't see that having a major effect in Hong Kong. The basic law is there for 50 years. There's a lot of agreement with the Chinese. Hong Kong is a booming economy, and the Chinese, I don't think, want to fool with that.
What do you miss the most about the States?
Ice hockey.
Ice hockey. What do you miss the most?
I guess my family.
Your family. What do you miss?
Well, with Mom and Dad watching, I have to say Mom and Dad.
I am Mom and Dad.
That's right. Okay, thank you very much for joining us. It is a nice community, a nice place to live for Americans. When we come back, that rare box of cigars that costs as much as some cars, live from Hong Kong.
The shoes, I had the bag, but I couldn't quite get into the dress until I indulged in dark chocolate fudge for 3 weeks and lost 6 pounds. With Nestle Sweet Success, the weight loss plan for chocolate lovers. A creamy Nestle shake for breakfast, another for lunch, a sensible meal, even a chewy snack, all for the same calories as other diet plans. So, how do I look? It's the only diet that starts with Nestle and ends with sweet success.
When brewing a whole pot of coffee doesn't make sense, choose Maxwell House Filter Pack Singles. Rich Maxwell House coffee in one fresh brewed cup. Filter Pack Singles. New from Maxwell House.
These are some of the thousands of homeowners who call Centennial Mortgage Company every day of the week for mortgage refinancing or home equity loans. Centennial helps people just like you with bill consolidation, home improvement, and many other personal needs. And Centennial even works with people who have had credit problems in the past or have been turned down by other lenders. So call Centennial now. You'll be glad you did. And then join with the many, many homeowners who now say,
Thank you, Centennial.
Dad has always been proud of me. He was so impressed when I graduated from medical school and when my practice got going. Now I've leased a '94 Cadillac DeVille with a luxurious interior, the AirBank system that helps to protect all 3 front seat passengers, and an attractive smart lease. Dad's so proud, he tells everyone his little girl is driving a Cadillac.
See your local Cadillac Gold Key dealers for attractive smart lease terms on a new 1994 Cadillac DeVille.
Now 7 minutes before the hour. There's an old expression that what the world needs is another 5-cent cigar. But here in Hong Kong, where conspicuous consumption is king, boy, have they updated that expression. Here is a box of stogies that sells for 100,000 Hong Kong dollars. That is $13,000 US. Just take a look at that. Boy, that's a smoke, I would say. Teddy Lam is here to tell us about it. He is manager of the Cohiba Cigar Divan here in Hong Kong. What makes this a $13,000 US box of cigars? Why is it that good?
Because the wrapper of the cigar is specially only the wrapper for the making the cigar.
The wrapper,
aging, yes, aging 30 years.
It's aged 30 years?
Yes.
Now, these are from Cuba. Do you sell many of these?
Yes.
At $13,000 a box?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
And if somebody buys them, do they smoke them, or do they keep them?
Normally they will keep that.
They would keep them?
Yes, about 70%.
70% of the people who have bought them have kept them. Now, are these just being turned out in volume, or is this a limited edition?
Limited.
How many boxes did they make?
501.
501?
Yes.
All right, now when they started, did they cost 100,000 Hong Kong dollars, 13,000 US then, or has the price gone up as collectors?
The price is going up.
It is?
Yes.
How many of these boxes do you have?
Up to now, we only have 2 left.
You only have 2 left?
Yes.
So if the rains start falling, and I open this box with the rain fall, we've wiped out $13,000, is that right? We don't want to do that. Keep them closed. And no, I'm not going to be able to put one in my pocket. And nobody's handing, I don't suppose anybody hands them out when they have a baby, do they? They do? They could use them anyway, I suppose. Have you smoked one?
Yes.
Was it good?
Excellent.
Well, it should be. It should be for that cost. Teddy, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
And here, you better hold on to them.
Thank you.
All right. It is now 5 before the hour. Good Morning America will continue live from Hong Kong in just a moment.
Now's the time to get a great price on a home and a great price on a loan from Countrywide, their best price guarantee. Apply for a Countrywide fixed-rate home purchase loan with low monthly payments. If you can get a lower combination of rates and points elsewhere, Countrywide will beat it or pay you $100. Call Countrywide now, 800-877-LOAN. 800-877-LOAN. I like it. Countrywide, best price guarantee.
When you take off the weight, you feel great about yourself. You're making a difference in your life and your health. Slim Fast, it's what you're doing for you.
That was really me and Jillian. Then I lost 50 pounds in 6 months on the Ultra Slim Fast plan. The plan is easy. A shake for breakfast, another for lunch, a sensible dinner, even candy bars as snacks.
Give us a week, we'll take off the weight. It's what you're doing for you.
Welcome to Endora.
Hi.
A small town where ordinary people...
How's Mama?
She's fat. Lead extraordinary lives.
Oh, my.
Johnny Depp.
Come on down, buddy.
Juliette Lewis.
I'm not sorry. He's not sorry. We're not sorry.
And Academy Award nominee Leonardo DiCaprio.
I could go at any time.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, March 4th.
Most people don't like new pillows because new ones don't feel comfortable right away. There's always that adjustment period.
That's why there is Comforel, the only pillow made with thousands of tiny DuPont fiber puffs designed to adjust to your every move, which makes breaking in a pillow pure pleasure.
So you can spend months getting used to other pillows or rest easy with Comforel, only by DuPont.
Comforel is on sale now at Kaufmann's.
Good Morning America in Hong Kong is brought to you by Nestle's Sweet Success.
In our second hour, we're going to show you Hong Kong's Tai Tais. That is not a drink. No. Those are women who are married and in many cases divorced from the very rich men here in Hong Kong. They live a rather remarkable life, and we're going to show you what they do day and night.
And also, Charlie and I have been fitted for custom-made suits, and we'll show you how that's going, and we'll have a little music for you.
Yes, you do not get a custom-made suit around here in 24 hours. There's that sort of, I think, fable that you can come to Hong Kong, get a suit made overnight, and get out of here. They have to have a number of fittings, and we've had our first